Yo, what's good, beautiful people? It's your boy Emmanuel. Welcome back again to the channel. Alright, today, gang, we are here. We are finally doing it, man. This is what I've been looking forward to for a long time to make. It was so hard making this video, so hard putting together this list. It's been a crazy year for music. I know it's been like one of the worst years in general for everyone, knowing what happened and so many issues that this year came with. But I think in the music aspect of things, everyone got busy. It was obviously due to the fact that most people, obviously everyone, not even most people, every artist couldn't have shows anymore for a long period of time, close to 9 months. So everyone was stuck at home, pretty much stuck in the studios. Everyone was recording, putting out work, creating some streaming revenue for themselves. So you can see the monetary reasons to get out there and put music. And everyone and their mama dropped an album this year, man. It's crazy. Like everyone dropped, and it's a good thing for album culture in Nigeria. Like we've always been seeing singles and whatnot. But it's great that album culture is like picking up steam, and a lot of people are discussing albums now, and it's a great thing. I'm happy about it, but definitely makes the job difficult to put together all my favorites, top 50s, because there are so many albums that I love that could even still make it to this 50 list. But I did an honorable mentions video, so go check that one out. That should be out by now. Yes. Right now I'm just getting into the top 50, so these are all my picks. This is all based on what I felt I enjoyed the most. Basically, it comes down to my experience on the album listening. And mind you, you're gonna find EPs here as well. EPs for me are gonna be considered albums if they're over 5 tracks. And yeah, I feel like that's a body of work, and I could very much compare them with albums. And yeah, this is it. So real quick, let's get right into it. Number 50, I got Denzel Oaks with Zel EP. Okay, now this is an artist that I honestly stumbled upon with this project. Shout out to Saeed. Saeed put me on to this guy, and I listened to this project very recently, and I was just absolutely blown away by the level of the outright quality that this guy has in his vocal delivery. His pace, his cadence is very well articulated. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of him because he's very well refined, and it seems like a very new artist, but he sounds experienced in this pocket. It sounds very well comfortable on this beats. The production here was impeccable, and I'm just a fan of it. The features too, man. That track Zoo with Psycho YP and the rest of the guys, man, this was a dope record for, I think, one of the Abuja hip hop. I was a fan of it. So Denzel Oaks for 50. At 49, I have Niniola, Color of Sounds. Okay, this was Niniola trying to find a balance between her brand that has been seen as this Afro house queen, like this Afro house / Amapiano, with this new wave of Amapiano. She felt like she needed to make a statement with this album, and for an album that was the album that had I don't know, that had Timbaland as a producer. I felt there was a lot. I feel like she was equipped. She was very well resourced on this album to make it even more phenomenal. So that's why it's that's why it's very low on this list. I would have definitely loved to see it higher. But nonetheless, it made for a good listen for if you're a house fan and I'm a piano fan. But she definitely struggled with that balance, I think. But yeah, this is a good project no matter what. That's 49. At 48, I had Kidi from Ghana with Blue EP. I absolutely love this EP. I mean, it was very dense. That's why I'm a fan of EPs, and I always give them the credit, because it was very well selected records that were here. They had the range of subject matter as well that I would love to see in a pop act. For a pop act, it was an amazing range of subject matter that he tackled here, and just brilliant songwriting, man. I feel like Kidi is not, people don't rate his pen game. I don't know if he gets some assistance, but mine was powerful on this one, so I definitely rate it. Patoranking with 3. 3 is, in terms of Patoranking's discography, definitely not his best, but honestly, it was a good album, it was a good listen. Production here was heavy intention. Every intention that he had when it comes to genre bending, he was very well with the exception of some records, I would say, but he was very well like intentional about like spreading his range. You know, he tackled new sounds that I haven't seen before. I would say this is not as dramatic, this is not as refined as a Wilmer album, but I would definitely still see it as a worthy album. So 47, Patoranking 3 for sure. At 46, I got E. Kelly, No Secrets. E. Kelly, one of the very well decorated Afrobeat, Afropop producers, came together and put out a very strong list of talents from Joe Boy to Boy Breed to Minz. I'm put together a very, very solid project. I was definitely a fan of this one. At 45, Reminisce, Vibes and Inshallah EP, man. Vibes and Inshallah, like I love this EP. The moment it came out, the first listen was very enjoyable. Reminisce for a rapper as well, very well, like very well in tackling other sounds, very well intentioned in spreading his wings a little bit. He felt comfortable. He got personal in many instances of the song, especially in the intro. I like when an MC is very intentional about just putting together a body of work, and I think this was a good example for him that he set. At 44, I got Victony Saturn EP. Okay, Victony was an artist. I think this is his debut EP, but man, this guy's voice is so very strong replay value on this EP. I definitely turn back to that song Maria with Fouls. Oh man, and there's so many songs like that just like me. Like I was really impressed by his effort on this EP. I'm definitely looking forward to more projects from him. At number 43, I got Blackmagic with Blackmagic version 3.0. Blackmagic making a comeback after a long hiatus, man. And with this project, it was a very beautiful one. The very first, I think, 6 records were so solid. But I have a full review on that one on this channel actually, so go check it out if you haven't. But definitely Blackmagic making a moment for himself because it's been such a long time. At number 42, we got Stonebwoy, Anloga Junction from Ghana. We got Stonebwoy, man. This was a very interesting project. I'm definitely a fan of Afro dancehall, and Stonebwoy is one of my go-to artists for this, and very enjoyable album. At 41, I got T Classic Underrated EP. It's in the name. This EP is grossly underrated. Very strong, powerful records all through from top to bottom. This definitely felt like it needed a lot more love and a lot more attention. T Classic is an act that definitely knows how to arrange a song, definitely knows how to get you dancing, definitely knows how to... And again, the features as well. The features were very compatible, very brilliant, and well calculated. Definitely a fan of T Classic with this one. Next up, we got Tems for Broken Ears, okay? Definitely a strong one with her debut project. Made a name for herself. Tems is obviously blossoming as an artist, and this was a good example to witness that. There were some issues with the EP or album rather, but I definitely felt like it was a good statement. It was a good run for her career, and I see her on a crazy run on a trajectory next year as well. So definitely one of the biggest acts to look out for, to keep tabs on, you know. At 39, I got Terri Afro Series EP. This was an EP that, from the branding, it was very poor, but I feel like the meat of the projects, the content itself, speaks for itself. I think Terri is an act that I've always said he doesn't necessarily bring something that is new to the table in terms of like sonically speaking. I feel like he's grossly like casted under the shadows of Wizkid, man, and I would love to see him grow further and break out of that shadow. But nonetheless, there were great numbers that I took out of this one. Killman, Ojuro. He definitely showed some effort and made a name for himself with his debut EP as well. Next up, I got AQ with God's Engineering, one of my favorite rap albums this year. AQ, as always, AQ has come a long way, man. I feel like with this project, I definitely got more respect for him because I think this was supposed to be his last album, so there was that I guess sentiment behind the album as well that made him more connectable, made him more personal, and he was just very well, like, very good on his delivery, because that's one thing I've always had an issue with AQ, man. Was very good on his delivery, not only on this project, but another project that we're going to be mentioning very soon. At 37, I got DJ Spinall with Grace. In terms of compilation albums, this was definitely one of my favorites. Obviously, it's a cheat code to put together albums by different artists, but DJ Spinall is not just just a DJ that sits in the background; he's also a producer as well. And many of my favorite songs were produced by him, and he has also gotten assistance from other producers. There's definitely an art in terms of curating artists and putting them together in a body of work, and he was very well intentioned about that, and I enjoyed it. At 36, I have Tiwa Savage with Celia. Celia album, man, this is her first like international. This is me coming out of the Nigerian scene, and definitely her first big label project, and it was a very enjoyable one. Obviously there's issues to be had with it, to be said with it when it comes to, I guess, marketing this album, because I felt like the content definitely stood for itself. It's one that has been a slow burner. So many songs that I'm definitely like clinging on to. It was a strong statement talking about the values and principles passed down from her mother. So it was an album connected to her mother and all the lessons that she learned growing up, and it was definitely an enjoyable one too. At 35, I got Flavour Naba Nya with Flavour of Africa. Now this is an album that Flavour wanted to sell himself with, and I think he did a great job. This is him putting out all his best like pockets. This man has so much range that I honestly like. He has had great albums. He has not definitely put out like any bad album that I've seen. But like I appreciate a lot more of his range here. Some songs and some topics that he tackled, bringing that very strong Eastern high life feel, man. Also taking us back to Ashawo and almost remixing it with Beanie Man as well, and it was a very enjoyable album. There were so many surprises and whatnot. I had issues with the arrangement, but nonetheless, this was a strong body of work from Flavour. At number 34, I got Bella Shmurda with High Tension. Oh man, Bella is obviously one of the biggest acts out this year. Excuse me, but this EP was a huge statement for him. Very well enjoyable, top to bottom. I felt like his space, that Apala kind of sounding like vocal texture that he has is very unique, very powerful. Next up, we got DRB Lasgidi Pioneers. Pioneers being, I guess, their debut album, because DRB Lasgidi, being one of the pioneers of the Alter scene, wanted to make a statement. This is us. We put this together. They made the statement with the helps of Odunsi, with Lady Donley, and acts that they've pretty much come that they've presented a platform for from early 2010s, and this is just an album just to make that statement and claim their spot as the pioneers of the Alter scene, and it was a very enjoyable one for sure. Next up, I got another compilation album, Ejoya Class of 20 Volume 1. This is an album that was very well like put together with in terms of like just the talent, man, just the raw talent that is plastered all over this. Now this is an album that many of the names are not like, I don't know, household names yet, and this is a good way to like showcase the talent that we have in the scene, and this is a good one to check out if you haven't. At 31, I got J Hus with Big Conspiracy, man. For UK acts, this definitely was my favorite out of the UK. J Hus being very well articulated, man, just bringing that street knowledge, and the storytelling on this one is beautiful, very well done. Like, I'm just a fan of J Hus when he tackles when he's like preaching to you and telling his story, learning about his telling about his mistakes. And there were good numbers here with Burna Boy and Kofi as well, so it was a great album. At number 30, I got Odunsi with Everything You Heard Is True. 29, I got PrettyboyDO with Wildfire, okay? At number 28, I have Q Dot with Alagbe. This is a very solid, like, if you're not aware of who Q Dot is, you need to wake up, okay? Because Q Dot's kind of like picked up off of where Nice left, okay? I don't know Nice ever left, but this is a very like strong contemporary Apala music, man. If you're looking for a like that really streets, like very well grounded kind of music, this is what you this is a good album to look forward to. It's his debut album for him. So definitely making a statement in terms of albums. This is very, very solid, very dense for a lengthy album. It was very dense, and it was all the proverbs he drops and gems he drops with every topic he attacks. And sonically speaking, it's just a breath of fresh air, honestly. At 27, I got Timaya with Gratitude, okay? Chulo himself making a statement that, look, a lot of people don't rate me, but this is me showing how I still got it, how I still have that ginger that you people love me. Very inspirational records here, records that definitely boost your confidence, and I'm a fan of it. At 26, I got WhoisAkin with Full Moon Weekends, okay? Oof, this album has so much. First off, the fact that WhoisAkin, this is mystery behind him. He never shows his face, and it's just a unique trait. But obviously, that's not what makes the album for me. It's the content of it. How I won't say how soothing this man's voice is. The features on this were very beautiful. The very strong, powerful melodies all over the album. Very soothing, very relaxing record that I love to kick back to. He definitely made a name for himself. Got everyone talking for sure. 25, I got Wizkid, Made in Lagos. This is an album that I've talked heavily about, and you guys already know the issues that I have with the album, but nonetheless, it's a slow burner. This is an album that has definitely aged beautifully on me. It's a big statement for his discography. Wizkid definitely lets you know what he is tackling, where he is sonically as an artist, a very well established, I guess the GOAT of Afrobeats, man, of contemporary Afrobeats, and like easy, laid back album, something to kick back to as well. Escapism kind of album. So I see it as that, and definitely why it's one of my favorites this year. At 24, I got Kiss Daniel with King of Love. Next up, Terri, Apala, and Major Banks, okay, with Major Vibes. Very dense. This album, this EP is very dense. That Apala drill moment that he has always been brilliant in terms of fusing hip-hop and Apala music together. Major Banks very well captured in terms of production here, very powerful. At number 22, I got Adekunle Gold with Afropop Volume 1. Check out the review if you haven't. At number 21, I got Burna Boy, Twice as Tall, okay? Now this is many people's like very well like their number one. I know a lot of people have said this is their favorite album this year. There's a lot of reasons why this album is as great as it is. First off, you're seeing the drive that he has to reiterate that message off of his African Giant album, to reiterate that message and make the claim for the Grammys. This album, just like the last one, is up for a Grammy nomination, and there are many signals that point to the fact that he might be picking this up. And Burna Boy definitely made a statement, very, very super intentional about winning the Grammys on this album. You can see the motivation for that, and hopefully he picks up the Grammy and brings it home for everyone to rejoice, because I think it's a great precedent to set. At number 20, okay, I got Manuel's with Mirage, and I love this body of work. It's so beautifully done. I've known Manuel's, okay. I've been very privy with his work. I've seen a song with him and Adekunle Gold, but man, this one just blew me away. The songwriting, the texture of his voice, so infectious, so captivating. The melodies are beautiful here. Just a very soothing listen. I urge you guys to check it out, man. At 19, I got Nasty C with Zulu Man with Some Power. This is Nasty C making that claim for himself, man. This is him trying to like break into that US market as well. You can see him with the international features, but I feel like his essence was still very much here. A lot of people gave this album some issues, but I definitely didn't see the issues here. It's very memorable, very touching, tackles so many topics, the range of topics, the braggadocio of the album, of the sentiment that that he has always had. He's not one to shy away from bragging, okay? He's gonna be out here, let you know why he's the shit, and definitely make the good claim for why he's the shit. 18, I got World with Afro Soul EP. This is a very beautiful record for a project named after a genre. I feel like he definitely showed as to why he is in that pocket, he's in that lane. And I think he had the deluxe for this too as well, and added 2 amazing records to this. At 17, I got El Victor with Insha B2. Now, when it comes to indigenous rap, yeah, like, I've known about him. I've known about El Victor, but nothing before this had ever grabbed my attention to the point where now I have to have him on my radar, because this album not only did the language barrier not be an issue, but also the beat selection, how classical, how vintage his hip hop beat selection was on this. The level of just the very like emotional delivery of the topics that he was tackling, the picture that it painted, it almost makes you feel like you're in the middle of the scene. It's a time capsule. What this EP ends up doing, it takes you to a storyline. It's very educational in some sense, because I had to get my Igbo friends to translate some things, and it got me researching other things like the Asaba Massacre, and it's just a brilliant body of work. And as a hip hop fan, this is very well one of the finest hip hop albums out of Nigeria in a while. And CB2, hard. At number 16, speaking of hard records, I got AQ and MI Abaga with Live Report. Okay, how organic this came about was very powerful. Somebody just said on Twitter, AQ and MI need an album together. It ended up being MI's 10th project, okay, and it made for a good moment. Seeing both of them go back and forth, touching on many topics. This was around the beginning of the pandemic, and where everyone was locked down, and you could see them tackle those issues, have their own conspiracy theories, going back and forth. It felt very conversational, but obviously these are 2 of the finest MCs that we have in the country, so you'd expect impeccable songwriting, delivery here, the amazing beautiful cadences here, the metaphors, just the bars, man. M.I. Abaga is not one to shy away from the bars. If you haven't seen my review of that one, definitely go check it out. At 15, I got a very soothing EP, man. Just something I hold so dear to me. Jules. Okay, Happy Place EP. This is literally in the title. This EP made me so happy. It just made me joyful in the mess in this year. I'm a piano renditions as well. Very strong house feeling. Afro house as well. It was very strong, man. At 14, we got Oxlade with Oxygen EP. This is another project that at first instance, man, I gave it the props it definitely deserved. I think I recognized it immediately that this was a great album. But I just coming back to this list, and I just looked at, okay, yeah, songs like Hold On that instantly before I didn't really like, but going back to it, it's so beautiful, and seeing live performances of the song as well. Away is definitely one of my favorite songs in general, okay? And when it comes to hooks and choruses, I think Oxlade is one of the finest in the country, so you'd expect him to come through with that on this EP, and it was so gracious how he did it. 13, okay, speaking of prodigies that are coming up and making a name for themselves, let's look at Amaarae with her debut full-length LP, okay? This is The Angel That You Don't Know. Man, where can I start with Amaarae on this project? A huge risk taker, okay? A huge risk taker, and man, was it worth it. Well, man, was it worth the risk, because this album has grown to be one of the finest albums out of the continent. She has made a name for herself, not only within the Nigerian scene, but for the rest of the world. I think she's getting picked up by many publications in the US. She's American as well, so you can understand that, but nonetheless, great moments on this album. At number 12, I got Psycho YP and Azanti with YP and Azanti Volume 1. I am excited for these two, man. I'm excited for what they bring when they come together. I know this is Volume 1. I'm expecting to hear Volume 2, but boy, Azanti, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of this guy. So beautiful, his voice. Focus, Jimasun, Karo. What can I? Oh man, this is very dense project. I loved it from top to bottom. Very strong moment, very strong statement for both of them, especially Azanti, because prior to this, I don't think I even knew his name or anything, and I've looked out for his previous work. But man, apparently he's 17. Man is 17 and sounding so like classically trained when he sings, man. I thought he's very well refined and he did a fantastic job on this one. Next up at number 11, I got Young L with Juice and Zim. Criminally underrated artist in the reggae and dancehall scene in the country. He's untouched, okay? Young L is the finest that we have when it comes to reggae and dancehall. Just the production, his patois here, his lingo, everything about this is so authentic, man. I feel like he does this so often. It's going to the point where it's super convincing that this man doesn't even sound Nigerian. It sounds like an international refined like dancehall record. I go back to very often. Strong moments like Eve Bounce, where Wizkid ended up doing a remix for. I love this body of work, man. At number 10, I got Basket Mouth with the soundtrack of his show for Yabasi Onions. Okay, man, where can I start with? A High Life. The Sweets High Life. Okay, curated, another very well curated project. Okay, like apparently done in the span of 2 weeks as well. Every record flows together. Apparently it was one producer that did it, so it made every sense. How every song connected and how every song just flowed together. I feel like they were made in, it was a match made in heaven, man. And very strong moments from Flash, strong moments from The Roots, strong moments from Oxlade, Ice Prince as well, like STC. Come on, I just love the roster on this project. It's very well created. Fantastic job, man. Basketball, fantastic job putting this together. At number 9, I got M.I. Abaga, Judah, the EP. Honestly, one of my favorite hip-hop projects. At number 8, I got Olamide with Carpe Diem. Olamide saved himself from the horrendous moment that we had with 999 EP. But we're here with a very beautiful project that, oh man, where can I start with this? This is so refined. You can see how cherry and how luxurious this album felt. It felt like I was in a good place. It felt like a happy place. Just how brilliant the curation of features were on this one as well. Funny enough, it ended up being an album that was slept on amongst the big names. But for an A-list artist, I think this album was grossly slept on. Other albums were definitely way more like blown out just because of the name recognition and who was attached to it and what stand culture was trying to propel the album. But Olamide held his own when it comes to the content. At number 7, I got one that many people might not even be aware of. Obonjaya with Which Way Forward. This album, man, it's beautiful. It had a very strong essence of Fela mixed with like Temi Pala, you know, like it's very alternative to its core, very unpredictable, very experimental, but enjoyable at the same time. His vocal delivery is so unique and powerful and very demanding. Obonjaya, like, I just had to pay attention to this guy. This was a very artistic, very well calculated. It's a very solid record. 10K, man. It's a song. Oh man, that song. At number 6, I got Fireboy with Apollo. Okay, following this classic LTG. This was a very high bar for him that was set. Okay, with LTG, and he didn't meet it. To be honest, he didn't meet that bar that he's at with LTG. But nonetheless, still a great body of work. At number 5, I'm going to Kenya with this one. I'm going Salty Soul with Midnight Train. What a beautiful album. What a beauty this was. I listened to this and very well captivating. Brilliant songwriting. The harmonies within these guys, man. These guys are they haven't slowed down. They're coming. And I think even the Midnight Train is a metaphor of the energy they're coming with. These guys have just been dropping features left, right, center. amazing body of work as well. Like they're just boosting out of the East African scene and crossover into like to Nigerian market to the rest of the world. I just feel like I just feel like the level of artistry behind them. I feel like they're very well trained, classically trained singers, beautiful vocal textures, and very well experimented as well. It wasn't a sleeper, it wasn't a doozer. Every track was a moment of its own. At number 4, I got my top hip-hop album out of the country. Remy Baggins, Amaterasu. Whew, this album, heavy, dense, okay? Just the artistry, man. His pen game, the melodic rap scene that he's coming out of. Just being a very versatile artist, an artist that you could easily be lumped into different genres and sounds, but you can never box this guy. And this was a moment where he just said, let me show you all how hard I can go with this drill scene, this trap scene, this very, very dark and just demanding respect. The energy that the album comes with, just him demanding the respect that he feels it deserves in the industry. And I'm honestly with him on that one. This man deserves a lot more than he has been dropping. He hasn't had any bad project under his belt, but this one stood out because he knows how to just keep getting better when it comes to albums. Is still independent and still doesn't necessarily have all the resources or the big names to feature with. He knows how to create a body of work just from a production standpoint. But him as a rapper, him getting personal and intimate with his audience by telling stories that they're picking up from his own experiences and just penning them out there. Very vulnerable record, but very dark at the same time, man. And just really spilling out how he felt. Definitely my favorite hip-hop albums on this year. You got that drill, you got that trap for you, that melodic rap, you got it. This album has it, man, and it was very enjoyable. Top tier for sure for me. Number 3, I got On My Lay with Get Laid. This was an album that broke everyone's like radar. Everyone was just like, okay, who is this guy I keep seeing on this playlist and every playlist? Like, bro, it's coming out with like a smash record, like Bad Influence. Everyone turned their eyes to On My Lay and his body of work, and going into this body of work, it's so dense, so powerful. The records are so like everything has a strong replay value on it, from Lolo to You to Damn to Yeah to man. I'm just splitting these records, but this was very, very, very powerful. His songwriting, man, for a pop artist, it just feels like Wizkid with a stronger pen game. Like, he's coming out, making a name for himself, bringing his own voice. This EP was definitely a strong claim for him to be one of the next rated artists. He got his nomination with this, and he just recently dropped another EP as well. But nonetheless, Get Laid was it for me. Get Laid was just an album that I couldn't skip, obviously. Like, so that's Get Laid with On My Lay. At number 2, okay? The Caveman took us back to our roots with the Roots album, man. Caveman, the debut project, a breath of fresh air, man. Taking us to that vintage, very rich and dense high life, okay? The wealth of culture behind this album it's so I just can't put words to it, man. I've tried, but this guy's literally put me in the cave. I've always wanted to experience a live show with them, but the live instrumentation on this album, the engineering, so well done. Shout out to Bigfoot, man. I'm like, there's so many things about this album that just makes it like, this came out of Nigeria this year. I am sorry. Every other album has to take a back seat because, with the exception of one, but every other album has to take a back seat because this is a moment. This is something that we need to treasure. These are guys that we need to pay attention to. The language barrier, again, it's a non-factor here because you feel it. You feel the emotion behind the records. Definitely had one of the most powerful songs that I've listened to from any Nigerian from a long time. I have my top 5. I have my top 50 songs list coming out as well, so definitely be on the lookout for that one. Beautifully arranged, very artistic renditions here. The live instrumentation, man, it just does it for me. Shout out to the Caveman, bro. Now, and yeah, that was my number 2, the Caveman Roots. Oh, what a beauty. Okay, now my number one, my album of the year. I didn't actually do a review to this album because the moment never came for me. But I have to give it to none other than Chike, Boo of the Bullets. I know, the name is corny. We get it. We know it. I hate the name as well. But going into this album, top to bottom, the vocal delivery, let's talk about that. First off, Chike is an artist that came from a reality show, a talent show, where all of them, you would expect for them to get to that level of a talent show, they're all classically trained vocalists. So you're expecting quality, okay? Very, like, top-notch quality when it comes to singing, man. Just when it comes to rendition. The beauty behind that, he had that on lock, okay? Not just that, but the production on this record. The atmosphere brought by the production, the storytelling behind each song, very well merged with the production, man. It puts you in the setting when it talks about love, it puts you in a wedding when it talks about insecurity, it puts you in a dark, somber moment when it talks about... That's the thing about this album too. Every pop album, usually the main narrative is always, I love you, girl, I wanna buy the word for you, I wanna do this, I wanna do that. But there's this level of depth that Nigerian pop albums never tackle. They never talk about the downsides of love, the struggles that come with love. He tackled that. He showed the natural insecurities that many people have. It showed the version of love between the mother and the son on the song like Soldier. Spoke about the reality of falling out of love on the song Out of Love. Spoke about like trying to ask for forgiveness, how to ask for forgiveness. There's so many angles to this album that he tackled. There's so many angles of love that he tackled on this album that I appreciated, man. I never see that with Nigerian albums. I hardly see that. And like how it's rich in high life as well in many instances, like Roju or Nakupenda. Like I feel like moments like that, you can see the range that he has. And this album in particular was just resounding and made a huge claim for him, and I'm a huge fan of his now, especially from this album. He wasn't on my radar before this, but with this debut album, what a debut, my guy. It was refreshing to see an artist like this. He dropped this on Valentine's Day. He made it all about love, and I appreciate the theme behind love. I just hate the name. I hate the cover as well, but you can't deny the content. You can't deny. It's not a 10 out of 10. A few things don't make it a 10 out of 10. Like I said, the name, the branding. All of these things actually like tie into what makes a complete album for me. Okay? It's not a complete album. If I was to give it a number, I never did. If I was to give it a number, it's a 9.7. Okay? A few pointers, okay? A few pointers as to why it's not a 10 out of 10 for me, okay? But nonetheless, still the finest album out this year in 2020. Without a doubt. And it was hard trying to like put this next to Roots, but I still see this as the number one. I love Roots for what it is. I love what Roots does, but this is just too strong and resounding for me not to award it my album of the year. With that being said, man, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching to this point, I appreciate you. Let me know, what is your album of the year? What are your, say, like your top 5? Leave in the comment sections. I definitely am curious as to what you guys found amazing throughout the course of this year. I'm coming back with my top 50 songs, so stay tuned, stay locked. Okay, I've been your boy Mano. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.